humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we need to move forward with another Legacy of Destruction, reveal. We have a brand new rank 10 monster, and I gave it a quick read before the video. I think it's a pretty good one, and this could mean some future things for sure, but let's just get into it. Of course, looking at the artwork here, this thing looks crazy. Love the artwork on it. I don't even like dragons that much, but this one's pretty cool because it's like he's very spacey and has a bunch of eyes. He's not just a regular old dragon guy. But this is Technologue Valrath. I don't know what that means, but that's okay. Alright, rank 10 Dark Worm XYZ effect monster. 3,000, 3,000 for the stats, so pretty beefy, big rank 10 guy. He takes 2 or more level 10 monsters, so pretty generic as well. You can only use all 3 of his effects once per turn. The first effect reads, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, detach a material from this card, negate the activation, then you can detach one more material from this card, then destroy one card on the field. That is kind of sick. That is kind of nasty. I'm not even going to lie. The fact that this is basically a negate and destroy, but you're going to get to choose what you get to destroy. Sometimes your opponent can activate a spell, and you obviously don't need to destroy a spell or trap for Labyrinth 2. You never need to destroy the spell or trap, because if it's a normal or a quick play, it gets negated and goes to grave. If you negate the activation, and even the continuous and field spells, they also go to grave if you negate the activation. So but having the option to then just pop any other card on field almost makes this a potential double interruption in certain scenarios. Just way more flexible than a regular negate and destroy. I like that a lot. That's just a really good effect in and of itself. Any Omni negate, look at Barone. Barone is essentially Barone, but like a little extra oomph. Just a little bit, but like there are going to be scenarios where this is just straight up better. Alright, second effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card with material attacks, you can destroy one card on the field. This is a nice little bonus effect for sure, because it adds actually a little bit of utility to this card going second, in the realm that if you summon this card into a board going second, you're already contesting a interruption with the first effect by basically forcing them to use 2 interactions on this card. And if they don't have enough interruptions to straight up remove this card without destruction, you'll see in a second, then this card's going to be able to extra punish them. You're going to get a pop. You're probably going to beat over something because he's 3,000. That's 1 card removed. Pop another. That's 2 cards removed. And then if they try to fire anything else during the rest of the turn, this card may be contesting 3 separate cards by itself if you're able to make it into a board. And the last effect, if this Exceed Summon card is destroyed, destroy 1 card on the field. That's non-targeting as well. Oh, also I didn't mention, none of these effects target. So whether you're attacking and destroying something, non-targeting. Whether it's this card was destroyed after it was Exceed Summon, non-target, destroy something. And when you negate something, it's non-target to choose to destroy something if you wanted to attach an extra material. So all non-targeting. It is all destruction based, so like obviously Fire King's Unchained. There are some decks that don't fully get punished by that, but it's pretty generically applicable. It's still a good removal, especially when it's non-targeting, because you can still go after like Fire King Island in the Fire King matchup, and there are still cards you can go after under Unchained, and still just forcing Unchained through all of their activations can actually put them in a weird spot for their grind game, especially now that they don't have 3 Shavara anyway. So like there's still value in that, even in those weird matchups. But I think this card's incredible. Here's the thing though. I scanned really quickly through all the level 10s in the game, basically, when I saw this card a little bit ago, doing my morning dookie, but I did not see much going on here. The only archetypes I saw that like really gave me like a okay was Time Lords, because that archetype is literally all 10s, but I have questions on how easily they're actually able to get multiple Time Lords on the field consistently. You know what I mean? To be able to like make this guy, and you can't just make this guy. This guy is not enough to just be your only thing, but he is pretty powerful for one single boss monster that's only going to take 2 monsters to make. But those monsters may be harder to come by because they're level 10, so maybe not as easy. The second one would be Earth Machines. Now the question would be like, are you locking yourself into machines, or at any point that makes it so you can't make this card. Otherwise, that may be literally the best deck at actually putting 10s on the field reasonably easy. And this card may just straight up be better than even making like Super Dora with a Derek Crane, right? So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And the last one is Eldritch. And Eldritch is still really slow, but we all know that same song and dance, right? Once you get that engine going and you're able to plop 2 big boys on the field, maybe there's a world where we're able to splash a secondary engine in Eldritch that actually gives us an extra 10, and so you don't have to necessarily get both Eldritches on the field. That could definitely work, but we'd have to see. All in all, I think the card's great. I think the card obviously is pretty good going first because it's a big body that is an Omni-Negate that can also potentially pop something else. And your opponent has to remove, not has to, but your opponent is really going to be decentivized to pop it, right? And that's the easiest form of removal. They're gonna maybe use their IP Masquerena removal on this because they just cannot afford it, and then they're not IPing something else. So we'll take that still. It's still pretty valuable, I think. So I like it. I think this card's pretty good. IP kind of handles cards like this if it's the only thing you have, right? Because they'd go, if you end on this turn 1, your opponent summons IP, they go effect to banish. Then you chain this to negate and then pop a card on the field maybe. And then they just chain IP's second effect and then banish both. But at least in that scenario, you still get this card back. Now, he's not going to have any effects, but he is going to be a 3k body that you get back, and then next turn you can just walk over IP. So there's something there at least. But it does at least contest it to help them play the rest of their hand. All in all, really cool card. I like this a lot. The last thing I want to throw out there, because there were only really 3 archetypes that I thought made that much sense, Konami is not dumb. Konami has plans for cards like these. This card is too generically good to just go to the wayside as soon as this card gets printed, basically. And everybody just accept, there's no real home for it, throw it to the side. Konami's too smart for that, so I really believe that Konami's going to do one of 3 things. Either 1, have a brand new archetype come out that actually puts 10s on the field very, very easily. Whatever it is, I don't care. Like, 10s are just high level. They tend to be harder to summon than the lower level monsters, but if you just make an archetype where they're all really tiny and weenie-ish, but they all just jump on the field really easily, and they're all extenders, this card becomes a lot more terrifying in a strategy like that. 2 could be an engine. Horus, for example. Look at what Horus does to allow like so many decks able to just have access to like a rank 8 engine. What if we got a new level 10 based engine that maybe has a restriction, but the decks that don't care about the restriction that much now get an assisting engine that helps them put a rank 10 on the field pretty easily. Boom, this card is definitely in there. And 3, it could just be one generic card. Maybe it's just a card that's a level 10 that jumps on the board really easily for the decks like Eldritch, for the decks like Trains that already can get like 1 or 2 on, but like maybe they have some restrictions, so maybe being able to get him out early. Whatever. I could see a generic new level 10 card that maybe it's just so easy to summon and has some other utility that maybe it's worth it to play in a deck that already has 10 so that you can get to this guy a lot more often. Bottom line, this card's good. It's going to come up at some point. I don't know if it's going to be sooner. I don't know if it's going to be later, but I just don't. I think I've seen it too many times where we get a card, it doesn't really have a home, and then like 2 months later, we're like, oh, there's the home. Konami had a plan for this. So that's what I'm expecting more than anything. I will keep my eyes peeled for that. I will bring you any more news. I think we still have like 10 cards left to go. Probably mostly filler stuff, but I'm glad we actually got like one more really good staple card here. If we don't have a home for this by the time Legacy of Destruction drops in the TCG, I'm telling you guys, you're going to want to pick this up because I do think this could be high rarity. But if there's no home for it yet, this could be like a $3 secret, and then you get it, and then like if a week later Konami decides to release the new level 10 archetype, boom, this card could shoot up, significantly. So I'm going to scoop it, I'm going to cop it if it's reasonable early, and see where we go from there. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I'm out of here for today. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News. And let me know your thoughts on this. Is there anything I missed here that could come up with this card? I'd love to hear it down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.